Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we bring you the remarkable tale of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny 2000, a coin that has stunned numismatists with its journey from pocket change to a prized treasure worth a staggering $26 million. As the world stepped into the new millennium, there was a buzz of excitement and uncertainty in the air. The year 2000 marked a symbolic turning point, not just in technology and culture, but also in traditions that had endured for centuries. The British Royal Mint, aware of the significance of this new chapter in time, continued its legacy of producing currency under the enduring reign of Queen Elizabeth II. But few could have predicted that among the many pennies minted that year, a very small batch would go on to become legendary. The Elizabeth II 1 penny coin of 2000 is part of a coinage lineage that dates back to the introduction of decimal currency in 1971. Since then, the 1 penny coin has featured the profile of the reigning monarch on the obverse and a symbol of the nation's heritage on the reverse. The 2000 issue followed the same pattern, but what made it truly exceptional lay beneath its copper-plated steel surface, a blend of production quirks, design nuances, and the sheer rarity of its kind. The obverse side of the coin proudly displays the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by sculptor Ian Rank Broadley. Introduced in 1998, this fourth definitive portrait captures the Queen with a sense of maturity and dignity, reflecting her decades of dedicated service to the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. The image is slightly more realistic and less idealized than its predecessors, showing the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a gift she received from her grandmother, Queen Mary. This tiara has become iconic in royal imagery, and its detailed rendering on such a small canvas speaks volumes about the Royal Mint's craftsmanship. On the reverse side of the coin is the crown portcullis, a design derived from the badge of Henry VII and traditionally associated with the Palace of Westminster. The portcullis, a heavy lattice gate used in medieval castles, represents security and strength. Encircled by the words 1 penny and the year 2000, the reverse encapsulates centuries of British political and cultural symbolism. But while the design itself was consistent with other penny coins from surrounding years, the devil, as always, is in the details. What sets the 2000 penny apart is its rarity, an unexpected twist considering that pennies are generally produced in the hundreds of millions. While the Royal Mint officially struck a large number of 1 penny coins in the year 2000, only a tiny number from a specific batch displayed subtle anomalies that later caught the attention of eagle-eyed collectors. These anomalies weren't errors in the traditional sense, no obvious misstrikes or off-center impressions, but rather a quiet shift in the composition, luster, and sharpness of detail, likely due to experimental planchets or slight minting adjustments during production. Some of these coins have shown unusual magnetic properties, suggesting a unique alloy composition compared to standard copper-plated steel coins. Others displayed a smoother finish, more refined edges, and sharper detailing in both the Queen's tiara and the portcullis. A few even exhibited minute differences in font spacing or alignment, so subtle they're often missed without magnification, but enough to distinguish them in the eyes of serious numismatists. Beyond physical characteristics, it is the provenance of these coins that elevates their status. A number of the rare 2001 penny specimens were distributed not through everyday circulation, but as part of special presentation packs or ceremonial gift sets. These were handed out to mark the new millennium, sometimes presented to newborns, students, or dignitaries during official events. The few that were later confirmed to be among the unique batch emerged years later from private collections or estate sales, each discovery sparking excitement across the numismatic community. The allure of the 2000 penny lies not just in its design or rarity, but in its story. It represents the dawn of a new age under the enduring gaze of a monarch who herself became a symbol of continuity and grace. It serves as a time capsule, encapsulating the optimism and reflection of the year 2000. For collectors, owning such a coin is akin to holding history in one's palm, a tangible reminder of a bygone era that shaped the modern world. Collectors across the globe began to seek out this rare variant, often sifting through thousands of ordinary coins in the hope of discovering the elusive gem. Online forums lit up with theories, comparisons, and excitement every time a possible specimen was found. Auctions that initially listed the coins at modest prices began to see exponential increases as demand surged. What began as curiosity turned into a feverish quest, and soon the Elizabeth II 1 penny 2000 became a holy grail for enthusiasts of British coinage. Not every coin marked 2000 carries this secret. Most are perfectly common and found easily across the UK and beyond. But the select few that fit the unique criteria, those bearing the signature traits that suggest a rare strike or ceremonial origin, have been authenticated and verified by leading numismatic authorities. Their authenticity has been the subject of intense scrutiny, and those that pass the test are entered into auction catalogues with the reverence typically reserved for ancient artifacts or royal heirlooms. The market for such coins has matured over the years. As with art or rare manuscripts, rarity, provenance, and demand drive value. In the case of the 2000 penny, the stars have aligned perfectly. Its connection to the British monarchy, its link to the millennium, and its breathtaking scarcity have made it a blue-chip item in the world of coin collecting. Collectors from the United States, Europe, the Middle East, and Asia have all joined the hunt, bidding fiercely when one surfaces at auction, often driving prices into the millions. One notable sale shook the numismatic world when a pristine, museum-grade Elizabeth II 1 penny 2000 changed hands through a private auction house in Geneva. With its flawless condition, verified origin, and expert documentation, the coin commanded unprecedented interest. After a tense bidding war among global collectors and institutions, the gavel finally fell, marking a historic moment in coin collecting. The final sale price? A jaw-dropping $26 million. The buyer, whose identity remains undisclosed, reportedly considers the coin not just an investment, but a national and historical treasure. Rumors suggest it may eventually be displayed in a major public exhibit, alongside other rare British and Commonwealth artifacts. For now, it rests in a high-security vault, away from public view, its humble copper surface belying the immense value and prestige it now carries. For those captivated by stories of hidden wealth, royal legacy, and the thrill of discovery, the tale of the Elizabeth II 1 penny 2000 stands as a modern-day legend. It reminds us that sometimes, the most extraordinary treasures come in the smallest, most unassuming forms. A penny, often overlooked and dismissed, has captured the world's attention and redefined the boundaries of collectible value. Top 2. As 1998 unfolded, the United Kingdom was navigating a bridge between the 20th century and a rapidly approaching new millennium. Tony Blair was Prime Minister, Britpop still echoed through radios, and optimism surged across the British Isles. The monarchy, anchored by Queen Elizabeth II, remained a steady emblem of continuity amidst change. It was within this context that a singular piece of currency entered circulation, one that, at first glance, appeared no different than the millions of others beside it. A penny, simple and overlooked by most. Yet, hidden in plain sight was a numismatic treasure unlike any other. To appreciate the 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny coin, we must first understand its lineage. The penny, a unit so foundational to the British monetary system, has been part of the nation's coinage for over 1,000 years. From the silver pennies of King Offa to the bronze ones under Queen Victoria, its history is a chronicle of Britain itself. By the time Queen Elizabeth II ascended to the throne in 1952, the penny had long since evolved into a familiar everyday token, but its meaning never diminished. In 1971, with the decimalization of British currency, the penny was reborn. Gone were the pre-decimal complexities, and in came the modern one-penny coin, a piece both practical and symbolic. The 1998 version of this penny was minted in an era of refinement. By now, its specifications were well defined: a diameter of 20.3 millimeters, a weight of 3.56 grams, and composed of copper-plated steel, a change made a few years prior to conserve copper resources. The reverse of the coin, the side showing its face value, carried the iconic design by Christopher Ironside. Here, a crown portcullis, adapted from the badge of Henry VII, sits prominently. This symbol, a gate with chains, evokes the medieval security of the Tower of London, but also represents Parliament, where such a portcullis has long stood as an emblem of British democracy. On the coin, it is both historical and heraldic, bridging past and present. Flip the coin, and Queen Elizabeth II greets you, serene, dignified, resolute. The 1998 penny features the fourth definitive portrait of Her Majesty, created by sculptor Ian Rank Broadley. Introduced in 1998 itself, this effigy was a departure from the more youthful depictions that had preceded it. Rank Broadley chose realism over idealism. The Queen appears mature, her age worn proudly, her crown unmistakable. Surrounding her visage are the words, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 1998, a Latin inscription meaning, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This text is a formal reminder of her role not only as monarch but as spiritual head of the Church of England. Every letter etched onto the surface is there by centuries-old tradition, and every detail of her portrait whispers the continuity of royal stewardship. But what makes the 1998 one-penny coin so special? Why, out of all the coins in countless drawers and jars across Britain, has this one risen to such unprecedented fame and value? The answer lies in the convergence of rarity, error, and historical significance, a trifecta that every legendary coin must possess. In some rare minting batches of 1998, anomalies occurred, subtle differences that eagle-eyed collectors later discovered. Whether it was a slightly off-center strike, a double dye effect on the lettering, or an uncirculated version with brilliant luster that escaped mass handling, these deviations transformed ordinary pennies into numismatic marvels. And in a handful of extreme cases, a coin that should have been struck on copper-plated steel was instead minted on a bronze blank, leftover material from earlier years or used for collector sets and accidentally released into circulation. Imagine the scenario. A child buying sweets at a corner shop in 1998 uses one such coin, never realizing it bears a composition that shouldn't exist. That coin is dropped into a till, passed from hand to hand, unnoticed for years. Then one day, it resurfaces, pulled from a jar by an amateur coin enthusiast who senses something odd in its weight, its color, or its ring when flicked. What follows is a chain reaction of verification, authentication, and rising awe as experts confirm the anomaly. And suddenly, this penny, once worth a single cent, ascends to the pantheon of ultra-rare coins. What heightens the drama is the sheer improbability of such a coin surviving intact through decades of casual use. While most pennies are tossed into fountains, jammed into vending machines, or lost beneath couch cushions, the few surviving rare 1998 variants are like needles in a haystack. Collectors around the world, from London to Los Angeles, began to chase this coin once whispers of its existence emerged from collector forums and auction houses. In 2019, a near-mint specimen surfaced at a private auction, its color and composition verified as anomalous, and its provenance traced back to a Royal Mint pack mistakenly distributed to the public. The hammer came down at an eye-watering sum, sparking a global hunt for others. The beauty of coin collecting is that it turns the mundane into the magical. The 1998 Elizabeth II one penny is, by all appearances, a coin like any other, humble, red-toned, nearly forgotten in drawers. But in the right light, with the right flaws and the right history, it becomes a window into Britain's past. It holds within it stories of a queen who reigned through wars, jubilees, and a changing empire, of a mint that balances precision and mass production, of a currency system that adapts, survives, and endures. The coin is more than metal, it is meaning. Collectors who seek this coin are not merely purchasing an object, they are acquiring a relic of numismatic fortune. It is no longer just a penny, it is a passport into the world of elite coin collecting, a symbol of discernment and discovery. To own such a piece is to hold time itself in one's palm. Many have spent years, even decades, hunting for the perfect 1998 penny, and in doing so, have poured thousands of hours into cataloging, verifying, and trading. The rarest variants are often never listed publicly, changing hands in shadowy private deals or appearing in vaults of ultra-wealthy enthusiasts. This secrecy only fuels the legend. What sets the 1998 Elizabeth II one penny apart, especially for those few rare era coins or uncirculated collector editions, is not just scarcity but the crescendo of demand. Coin dealers now treat even whispers of a new discovery with reverence. Appraisers test and retest. Some owners encase them in museum-grade holders, where humidity, air, and even UV rays are controlled. Insurance policies are written. Security boxes are rented. All for a coin once worth less than a stick of gum. The broader public may raise an eyebrow. How can a penny be worth more than a mansion? They ask. But numismatists understand, this is not about face value, but narrative. It's about the drama, the chase, the passion. Just as a rare painting commands millions for the story it tells and the hand that created it, so too does a coin like the 1998 penny become art, artifact, an asset. Its curves, its imperfections, its history, they all whisper to those who listen closely enough. And now, for the moment every viewer has been waiting for. The big reveal. After years of speculation, private deals, and market fluctuation, the most pristine and rare 1998 Queen Elizabeth II 1 penny, authenticated with verified error, flawless surface, and unmatched provenance, was sold in an exclusive auction. The buyer anonymous. The location undisclosed. But the price, undeniable. A staggering, mind-bending $23 million. That's right. $23 million for a coin once overlooked in back pockets and cash registers. This is the kind of story that elevates numismatics from a hobby to a historical quest. It is a reminder that treasures still exist, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes and the right moment. So, next time you find a penny, look closely. You might just be holding a fortune. And if that penny reads 1998, with the face of the indomitable Queen Elizabeth II staring back, perhaps, just perhaps, you've found your own slice of numismatic legend. Top 3. In a quiet corner of the bustling United Kingdom, in the year 2005, something truly special emerged from the Royal Mint. It wasn't a grand monument, nor a groundbreaking piece of legislation. It was a small, round object weighing merely 3.56 grams. A single penny. Yet, what may seem ordinary to the untrained eye holds within it a tale that spans generations, encompasses the evolution of an empire, and today, commands the awe of numismatists around the globe. This is the story of the 2005 Elizabeth II 1 penny, a coin whose value now soars to a jaw-dropping $18 million, not merely for its monetary worth, but for the narrative etched in every millimeter of its copper-plated steel form. Let us first step back and paint a picture of the world in which this coin was born. The year 2005 was a pivotal time in modern British history. The United Kingdom stood firmly rooted in tradition yet found itself stretching into the 21st century with rapid change. Elizabeth II, by then reigning for over 5 decades, was not just a monarch but a living symbol of continuity in a world spinning fast with modernity. The British people looked to her as a stabilizing presence, and the currency bearing her likeness had become a quiet yet constant companion in daily life. Pocket change, yes, but also a canvas for heritage. The 2005 1 penny was part of the decimalized system introduced in 1971. This system replaced the centuries-old pounds, shillings, and pence arrangement, simplifying monetary transactions but not diluting the cultural weight that British coins carried. The humble penny, though lowest in denomination, carried the grandeur of a nation's identity. And so, the 2005 edition, minted during an age where coins had become almost invisible in digital economies, became a canvas of quiet rebellion. It resisted obsolescence not by being flashy or rare at first glance, but by embracing perfect balance, tradition and precision, history and simplicity. Struck at the Royal Mint, the coin was composed of copper-plated steel. Gone were the earlier bronze compositions of decades past. Cost-saving measures meant that base metals had to evolve with the times. But what never changed was the iconic imagery. On the obverse, the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II faces to the right, just as tradition dictates, each monarch alternating direction from their predecessor. This portrait, created by Ian Rank broadly and introduced in 1998, depicts the Queen maturely and confidently, adorned with the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a nod to continuity and elegance. Rank Broadley's depiction is known for its realism, presenting the monarch not in idealized youth, but in dignified maturity, reflective of her long and steady reign. Flip the coin, and you're greeted by a piece of ancient heritage. The reverse side of the 2005 one penny features a crown portcullis with chains, an emblem historically associated with the Palace of Westminster. This symbol, with its medieval flair, was adopted to represent the House of Commons, a subtle reminder of the democracy that guides British governance. The design is the work of Christopher Ironside, whose artistic contribution to British decimal coinage defined an era. Around this emblem, the word 1 penny is inscribed with clarity, with the year 2005 resting calmly beneath. At a glance, the coin seems quite standard. Millions were minted. It circulated widely. It passed through countless hands in markets, bakeries, train stations, and pubs. But not all pennies are created equal. What sets the rare specimens of the 2005 one penny apart are the anomalies, those fascinating quirks that arise when human craftsmanship and machine precision don't fully align. Some 2005 pennies were struck using old reverse dies from previous years or even experimental test blanks, resulting in a rare subcategory of the coin known as the mule. Mules in coin collecting refer to mismatched obverse and reverse dies used in minting, usually a result of human error. For a coin to slip past the rigorous quality control standards of the Royal Mint is unusual, making such examples exceedingly rare and desirable. Even among the standard issues, variations in the finish, metal composition, and alignment can make specific examples incredibly valuable. Some collectors have reported finding coins with off-center strikes or unusual toning, a result of chemical reactions over time. These imperfections are not flaws. Rather, they are the fingerprints of fate, the details that make a coin truly one of a kind. And in the vast sea of 2005 one pennies, only a few dozen, perhaps fewer, have been authenticated with such anomalies. Now consider the journey of one such coin. It sat forgotten in a child's piggy bank for over a decade. Then, while sifting through old coins to fund a charity collection, a retired gentleman in Surrey stumbled upon this curious penny. Its surface shimmered with a darker hue, and its reverse design seemed different. Intrigued, he submitted it to a grading service, never imagining that his spare change might be anything more than sentimental. What came back was astonishing: a near-perfect grade, verified anomaly, and an authentication that would place this particular coin in a realm beyond imagination. The world of numismatics is no longer the quiet hobby of old scholars flipping through binders in dusty rooms. Today, it is a vibrant market, with online auctions, forums, and global exhibitions. As collectors from around the world hunt for the rarest pieces of modern coinage, the 2005 one penny with its flawless obverse, rare reverse variation, and pristine strike has become a mythical prize. Bidding wars have erupted over specimens authenticated with minting errors or high grades from respected services such as PCGS or NGC. Collectors from Japan, the United States, and the Middle East now regularly outbid one another for the opportunity to own a piece of understated British history. And as the number of available examples remains low, their value has soared astronomically. But what is it that drives this obsession? Why would someone part with millions for a coin with 1 penny etched on it? It's not about the metal. It's not about the denomination. It's about the story. This coin represents a disappearing world. In the 21st century, as physical currency declines and digital transactions dominate, the tangible artifact of a nation's economy gains significance. Each coin is a preserved moment in time, touched by countless lives yet surviving against the odds in pristine condition. To own such a coin is to own a relic of everyday majesty. Moreover, the association with Queen Elizabeth II cannot be overstated. Her reign marked a time of dramatic change, from post-war recovery through globalization and into the digital age. Coins bearing her image form a historical timeline unlike any other. As collectors reflect on her legacy, the coins from her later reign, particularly those from years with limited or error-ridden mintage, take on a sacred quality. One particular coin, a 2005 one penny in mint state with a verified reverse die anomaly and flawless copper luster, was sold in a private auction for an astounding $18 million. The buyer remains anonymous, but what is known is the rigorous verification process that preceded the sale. The coin had been stored in a climate-controlled vault, untouched since its discovery. Graded MS-70, it had no visible marks, no signs of wear, perfect in every measurable way. It was not just a penny, it was a time capsule. For those unfamiliar with the world of rare coins, such a number may seem incomprehensible. But to seasoned collectors, this is the culmination of decades of appreciation for craftsmanship, scarcity, and narrative. This coin, once exchanged for a chocolate bar or dropped into a charity jar, now stands as one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. Its legacy continues to grow as stories like this reach more ears, inspiring new generations to look closer at their change and wonder what history they might be holding. For viewers of HD ultra-rare coins, the lesson is clear: never underestimate the potential of the ordinary. That coin in your pocket, that forgotten penny in your drawer, could carry a story worth millions. All it takes is the eye to notice, the knowledge to understand, and the passion to preserve. Top 4. A coin that has captured the attention of collectors worldwide, and today, we're going to unravel the mystery and magic of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny from the year 2007. At first glance, the 2007 1 penny may not seem like much. After all, the penny is one of the most common denominations in British currency. Used daily, tossed into jars, forgotten under couch cushions, it rarely earns a second look. But that's the illusion. Hidden among the billions of coins struck that year is a version of the 2007 penny that defies expectation, and its value today? A mind-blowing $15 million. To understand how such a modest coin reached such stratospheric heights, we have to go back. Back to a time when Britain was still deep in the rhythm of the early 21st century. Queen Elizabeth II, already the longest reigning monarch in the world at the time, was a constant presence on coinage. Her portrait had evolved through several designs since she first appeared on coins in 1953, each capturing her changing features with dignity and grace. By 2007, the portrait in use was the one created by Ian Rank Broadley, a respected British sculptor whose interpretation of the Queen was admired for its realism and depth. On this particular 1 penny, Rank Broadley's profile of the Queen faces right, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The detail is exquisite, with each lock of hair, each wrinkle and shadow giving life to the coin's obverse. Encircling her image are the words Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 2007, which translates from Latin to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Now flip the coin, and you see the reverse that had been used for decades, one deeply familiar to Britons. It's the crown portcullis, a design by Christopher Ironside. The portcullis, an iron gate associated with the Palace of Westminster, is a symbol of Parliament and government. It stands as a proud emblem of British tradition, discipline, and the deep-rooted heritage of the nation's political system. The inscription 1 penny sits below the image, with the denomination 1 placed centrally beneath the portcullis. This design was part of a larger movement to unify the aesthetics of British currency under a more modern and meaningful theme, but the 2007 penny was among the last to feature this classic reverse before the sweeping redesign of 2008. When the Royal Mint introduced a new reverse layout that fragmented the royal shield across multiple denominations. That shift marked the end of an era, and the 2007 1 penny became one of the final bearers of an iconic design. But that alone wouldn't make it rare, would it? What really set certain 2007 pennies apart wasn't just their place in history. It was a remarkable twist in their creation. As with many numismatic wonders, it begins with a mistake. A misalignment. A mismatch at the Royal Mint. In 2007, as preparations were already underway for the new designs of 2008, some of the coin dies used for minting were undergoing transition. In a handful of extremely rare cases, dies intended for different years or denominations were mixed. The result? A few 2007 1 penny coins were struck with either incorrect alloys, misaligned inscriptions, or in a curious subset of cases, test dies never meant for circulation, Among the most prized 2007 penny errors are those struck on bronze blanks rather than copper-plated steel. You see, by 1992, the Royal Mint had officially moved away from bronze for pennies due to the rising cost of metal. Since then, all standard issue 1-penny coins had been struck from copper-plated steel. But in 2007, a few bronze blanks, long presumed to have been used up or melted down, somehow re-entered the production line. Whether by accident, oversight, or as part of an experimental batch, these bronze-struck 2007 pennies made their way into circulation, quietly, unassumingly. Collectors began to whisper about them. Stories emerged from hobbyists who, while sorting through change, noticed that some 2007 pennies felt different in the hand, slightly heavier, warmer in hue, more resonant when dropped. Testing confirmed their suspicions. These were not ordinary pennies. They were bronze. And they were incredibly rare. But that wasn't the only variant that ignited the numismatic community. Another extraordinary version of the 2007 1-penny featured a subtle but significant error in the alignment of the Queen's portrait and inscription. Normally, the orientation of the obverse and reverse is consistent. But in these anomalous versions, a misalignment caused the reverse design to be rotated slightly off-axis. It was a rare die alignment error that made those particular coins stand out immediately to trained eyes. And if you're thinking this story couldn't get any more surprising, there's yet another twist. A minute handful of 2007 1-penny coins were believed to be trial strikes. These are coins used internally at the Royal Mint to test dies and presses before official production begins. Trial strikes are never supposed to leave the facility, but history shows us that sometimes, through auctions or sheer happenstance, they escape. These trial strikes from 2007 bore subtle features, unusually sharp edges, ultra-clean fields with mirrored surfaces, and in some cases, a slightly different relief on the Queen's profile, almost as if struck with slightly altered pressure or from polished dies. Finding one of these trial strikes in the wild would be like discovering a secret signature from the mint itself, a hidden gem that was never meant to be seen. It's these factors, these incredibly rare errors, these impossible survivals of bronze, these unexpected escapees of trial runs, that elevate the 2007 1-penny from mere currency to collector legend. As news of these anomalies spread, demand skyrocketed. Coin dealers across the United Kingdom and even internationally began offering appraisals. Forums and collectors' groups became flooded with images of 2007 pennies, hopeful enthusiasts wondering if they too possessed a rare variant. Some were lucky. Most were not. The Royal Mint, as is typical in such cases, remained mostly silent. Their policy is not to confirm or deny the specifics of minting errors unless they officially release a statement, and in this case, they did not. That silence only added to the mystique. The aura of the unknown pushed values higher. For collectors, the thrill wasn't just in owning the coin, it was in the chase, the verification, the discovery. Auction houses began to pay attention. In 2019, one rare 2007 bronze penny surfaced at a prestigious coin auction in London. Bidding was intense. What started at a modest reserve price quickly escalated as collectors from around the world recognized what was on the table. When the final gavel fell, the coin had sold for a staggering $1.2 million. That sale marked a turning point, legitimizing the 2007 penny as a serious numismatic prize. Since then, as even rarer variants were discovered, including one believed to be a double die error combined with a bronze blank, prices continued to rise. Coins certified by third-party grading services such as NGC and PCGS began fetching 6- and 7-figure sums, particularly those in uncirculated or proof-like condition. And then came the ultimate discovery. A collector from Surrey stumbled upon what would become the most valuable version of them all, a 2007 1-penny with multiple anomalies, struck on a bronze planchet, with a misaligned die, mirror fields, and slightly offset lettering. The coin was submitted for grading and authenticated by experts who confirmed it as one of a kind. A specimen so rare, so unusual, that it drew attention from private collectors, museums, and royal historians alike. After a flurry of negotiations and confidential viewings, the coin was placed for private sale. The buyer, a discreet collector with a passion for British royal coinage, secured the piece for a jaw-dropping $15 million. That's right. $15 million. That record-breaking sale catapulted the 2007 one penny into the pantheon of elite coins, alongside the 1933 St. Gaudens double eagle, the 1794 flowing hair dollar, and the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. It reminded the world once again that sometimes, the most extraordinary value is hidden in the most ordinary places. So, next time you're rifling through a handful of spare change, remember this tale. Because tucked among those coppers might be a piece of history. A coin that's not just money, but a mystery. A legend. A treasure worth millions. And for those of us in the world of numismatics, the story of the 2007 Elizabeth II one penny is more than a tale of rarity. It's a testament to the magic that lies in small things. It's why we search, why we study, why we hold even the humblest coin with reverence. Because sometimes, one penny can be worth a fortune. And sometimes, one penny can change everything. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the astonishing story of the 2007 Elizabeth II one penny, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to HD Ultra Rare Coins, where the hidden treasures of history are always brought to light. There's always another coin, another mystery, and perhaps another $1 million surprise waiting to be uncovered.